Damn, none of that got recorded. Oh, well.
Are you serious?
Nobody will know what was discussed.
Really?
Yeah, I fucked up. I fucked up the recording.
Oh. Let's hear it. Let's hear this. Easy, Dobby. Hi.
It's too quiet, though. I don't like playing the...
Well, then boost it in post.
I know, but I don't want to boost in post. I want people to upload to the internet properly.
Well, that didn't happen, so what are you going to do?
They need to meet the LUF specs.
What's that mean?
Someone's graduating at the bottom of these classes. Where are these doctors? Is somewhere someone saying to their friend, you should see my doctor. He's the worst. Oh, yeah, he's the worst. He's the absolute worst there is. Whatever you've got, it'll be worse after you see him. Yeah, he's a butcher. The man's a butcher. And then there's always that, make sure that you tell him that, you know me. Why? What's the difference? He's a doctor. What is he? Oh, you know Bob. Oh, okay, I'll give you the real medicine. Yeah, everybody else I'm giving Tic Tacs.
They hated it, apparently.
Did they say AB? It really sounds like the audio manifestation of the background of Saved by the Bell.
Well, I don't understand what that means.
You know how like the background of Saved by the Bell, the theme song was like, it'd be like a skateboard and a pizza slice and a shoe and a like roller skate.
Oh, yes.
Give it a beep. A beep.
It was the only time it was used. They hated it.
Squaddle-dee-doo. Here's it a beep.
The poor guy who did the theme song every time, he apparently created a different theme for every episode. I mean, it's the same, but none of them match.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because the timing had to hit Jerry's stand-up.
Right.
But he was just trying to expand. He was trying something new.
Amy.
I wonder who he brought in to do the vocals, and then he had to tell them, we're never doing that again.
Well, they got paid. They got paid once.
Sure,
Not
but
a big deal. They don't care.
Yeah. Oh, I think they care. I think that they feel rejected. Like, oh.
Nah, they were on to the next.
Maybe that was all they had. Maybe that was their big break.
Easy, Debbie.
And then they put it on a reel, and people don't even think it's an actual theme. Like, hey, this is my vocal reel. And like, that was never on Seinfeld. What is this? You made this up? You did this in your bedroom?
Well, those people that would respond that way are stupid. Because I think a lot of people know that the Seinfeld theme did have words at some point.
Once.
Easy, Debbie. Beep, beep.
Now,
welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
my name is Greg Russ.
Cool. Welcome back.
I don't know why I said it like that. My name is Greg Russ.
NPR style.
Is that I guess I was listening to NPR the other day, and they've got people on who aren't the best speakers in the world. Meaning they can properly use the language, but like there was one guy with a bunch of, some people speaking, they have spittle in their mouth. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, fine, here today. This is the person they have on, and then I was thinking about the meetings they have behind the scenes at NPR. Like, we empower all types of speakers.
Oh, God.
I mean, that's not real. Well, it could be real. I don't know.
Maybe the fact that they don't say anything about it or try and correct it, that's maybe a silent way of saying, like, none of us are able to address this.
I don't think it's leaving anyone out. Certain careers and industries require different skills.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional weightlifter. Like I could go and say, I want to be on this weightlifting team. Like, you can't lift weights. Now, sure, I guess I could get myself in a position where maybe the way you speak isn't something you can change, especially if you've got the spittle voice. But, go find another route of employment.
Yeah, in an audio medium, that matters. As far as you being a decent person and deserving of respect, absolutely you do.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be made fun of it.
No.
Made fun for it. Like I'm making fun of the person now. I'm
You're
the
making
asshole.
fun. You're just noticing that there was an issue.
I'm the asshole. But yeah, I find it to be strange. And then there was someone else who came on with a noticeable lisp.
Lisp?
Apparently this is the future, the way forward in public radio, is we employ all types.
Okay.
All
People with
types of
stutters.
Yeah.
People who are deaf and don't speak. So they just sign over the airwaves.
Exactly. This is the applaud NPR. Next time they have fundraising, you should send a bunch of money because they're doing good work. And the guy wasn't even that knowledgeable. He would just,
No.
I'm just reporting, reading a script.
I'm just reporting, reading a script.
I mean, I guess
Benjamin.
if you were some kind of know-it-all in a field and you were the only person to disseminate the information, then sure. Yeah, okay, we'll deal with that. But you're just a person.
I'm just reading the thing that somebody gave me to say.
Who's reading the script. But though I guess it's better than half those announcers, because there's an approach on NPR where there's a coyness to it. There's an air of superiority, but they play coy. And what? Me? No way. So that annoys me. And maybe I'd rather hear the spittle man. There's always, think about it. They deliver the information, but instead of stating it emphatically and confidently, there's a bit of, I'm not even sure myself, especially with those human interest type shows like This American Life. It's like, there's this information that I'm going to tell you, but I'm not the kind of person who would be the kind of person to tell you that I know best. So I need to present it in a way that even I'm a bit unsure myself. That way you
smart.
think that
That's
I'm
storytelling.
just... No, it's not good storytelling. I want a confident storyteller. I don't want a cocky storyteller.
No, because they already know the result or the end of the story. So
no. It's not that. It's not because they're not trying to give away information, trying to protect us from spoilers. That's not what it is. It's just this thing that they do because, again, there's an air of being pretentious when you're on the air at NPR. And I think they're fully aware of this. There's a self-awareness of that. So you got to balance it on the other side. And inside, they do think that they're great. They think that they're the greatest presenters ever. And anyone who does lowly commercial radio is a big steaming pile of shit.
This feels like something projected or something.
No, it should be scooped. That's not when you project.
You always think that somebody else is thinking something like that.
This is what people think.
But people are like you also. There are people like you who are like, I'm a piece of shit. But also, I'm the best.
Exactly. That's why.
So they could be just like you.
Yes. Everyone is like that. That's why I'm basing this off of experience.
I don't feel like I'm a piece of shit.
You think you're the best?
No, but I think I'm good. I don't think I'm the best.
I mean, anything, not just podcasting or radio.
Oh. No, I think I'm all right. I think I'm pretty good at stuff.
You think you're great? You think you're amazing?
No. I think I'm all right. I think I do pretty well.
All right, that's middle of the road. That's some nice modesty. Anyway. I mean, speaking to being the best, you did brag before I started recording. You said, that show I did it last week, the show I did alone, did quite well.
Yeah, I was proud.
It had great listens.
It did. 654 on the first day.
Well, I pulled up the actual numbers. The number of downloads for Monday, July 18th, 2022, 654, as you said. Mm-hmm. But the actual breakdown for your show... Oh, crap. It's not letting me do it.
It's because I logged in. I'll log out.
No. Oh, you logged in.
Yeah.
What did you do to me? I also don't understand why two people can't be logged in at once.
I know. What the hell? What is this antiquated system they have?
No. Only one person at a time.
It's for safety.
All right. So we go to episodes and we'll go to statistics. A lot of stats to be had. 654, but we click on that. And we see that Ask Autumn Anything, AAA, got 403 downloads, whereas Bring On the Calm, our previous episode, which I what the hell was that about? I can't recall it. I have no clue.
It's funny you said that because I had to look back to see what number episode it was that I was posting, and I was like, Bring On the Calm. What was that?
I still have no idea.
Neither.
That got 45 downloads on Monday. SimCity 2000 got 12. Nudity still up there with 12, of course. But so looking at Monday, I'm not going to go through all the stats because this is somewhat boring. Look, Teleportation with Mike Carano got 1 download.
Wow.
People went way back to August 10th, 2020. That was a good episode.
It was a good episode. You know, he said that we should do an episode about the magic that music can bring. And I think about that all the time.
What does that mean?
When you're listening to something and it's that feeling of falling in love, you know, or it's just the feeling that a piece of music can give you, and not something that you would expect, you know, but it could just be like a rock and roll song, you know, or it's just, I don't know. Does that make sense? The magic that music can make you feel.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'd be difficult to talk about for an hour.
I think it would have to be something where we bring a lot of examples, which we can do. It just takes a lot of tech sort of planning.
Autumn is back. Autumn likes animals, fun, peanut butter, no topic, New Year's Eve. Somebody went back through our archives. Greg needs a routine. Social media, Autumn's online ordeal.
Remember that?
Jupiter.
Oh, fuck Jupiter.
The werewolf. That was probably an episode where you're freaking out. The werewolf.
Yeah, it's when I get sad at night.
Sex in the City. You really pushed for that episode.
God, I can't wait. Well, you were a jerk about that one. You didn't like go through it with me like I wanted.
You just wanted to jump around episode to episode, scene to scene.
Yeah, I wanted to complain so that everyone that also feels the same way could be like, yeah. But instead you're just like, no, this is weird. I can't handle it.
I have to say, look at this one, Greg's Airbnb. This is a thrilling episode, I'm sure, for people listening. Greg's Airbnb, the one where I checked into that Airbnb and I looked around for cameras and every light fixture, every outlet. That was almost already a year ago. Where does this time go? August 16th, 2021.
Where does the time go?
That got 1 download on Monday.
Wow.
The Nougat War got 1 download.
The Nougat War was about nougat versus like that fluff that's in stuff.
Different candy bars.
Yeah. But like the nougat that's inside of a Snickers doesn't seem to be the same type of nougat that's in a Three Musketeers, even though I think it's called nougat.
Autumn is drunk and listens to music. There's the one you were just talking about. We've already done that episode.
No, it's not really the same thing.
Okay.
Drunk and listening to music?
I'm surprised there are this many downloads of different episodes on that day. But the important thing here, the reason I bring this up is we need to compare your solo episode and my solo episode.
Okay.
And I got
so on the first day of downloads, not just cumulative.
I don't know if I can actually find that at this point. When did I release it? Is what we got to figure out. I also think it was on a holiday, wasn't it? So that ain't fair.
That ain't fire.
When we release on Mondays on a holiday, they don't get as many downloads. Although we're giving away our secrets and how many downloads we get, and people realize it's not that much. I'm sure there's someone out there.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Well,
over the month though, we're very high.
In the scheme of things, what is that? I've seen the breakdown before. We're still in like the top 10% of podcasts because most podcasts get 26 downloads.
Exactly.
Apparently,
the thing is though that the difference between like we're in the top 10%, but within that top 10%, it's either people like us or people like Adam Carolla who are getting, you know.
Does he still get downloads?
Oh yeah.
He's still up there, huh? That podcast still exists in a way that people
I guess to me it's just the same thing over and over and
they're
over.
Scurrying to get it. Well, again, if you do, how long is he on every day still?
I really don't remember. I haven't listened in a long time.
And how long of an episode does he do?
I think it's decent, but it's full of ads.
Even with someone like Rogan who does it every day, I think 3 hours a day, whatever the fuck it is. You're gonna repeat yourself. There's zero way. Nobody has that much to say.
Hold the Baby is what it's called.
Yeah, that's
on May 15th.
Oh, would you log in again?
No, I'm looking at our podcasts on Apple.
It was May 15th.
Yeah.
May 16th. Yeah, I mean, look at that. I just don't have the draw, I guess. People don't like me. What can I say? Because every episode surrounding it has over 1,000 downloads, and then Hold the Baby only has 842. And I'd like to
close enough.
842. I'd like to say that it did. I was proud of that podcast. I was talking to you. I asked you how your recording went, and you said, "Oh, there was a lot of editing." I had to,
God, yeah.
Hold the Baby was no edits. I just did that straight. I was stream of consciousness.
But how long is the episode?
It was 30 minutes.
Okay. I think mine was like 43.
Doing a show for 30 minutes straight. It's tough like that.
It is tough.
They're talk show hosts who are alone. And I know that they take calls quite often and sometimes they riff off of other people, but there are plenty of people who can make it seem pretty simple. Mm-hmm. Though I guess there are also breaks built in.
Right, but we also are not used to it. I think if we had more practice, it just takes learning. You have to fail a little bit so that you can know how to do it better. So neither of us typically do a show alone. And at least for me, I realize I say these placeholders a lot. So I've been thinking about that, So, I just said,
Yeah.
I said, and so, and a lot. I started recognizing the wave difference. I was like, oh, here comes one where that's my There it is. I see it coming. It's annoying.
Yeah, that's the one I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to acknowledge what you say and then move into what I say. And I lean on yeah. Yeah. And then on to my thought.
I feel though when you're alone, it doesn't make sense. But when you're with somebody else, I mean, that is how conversation works. And even though we're not just on a conversation like phone call with each other. So there is a difference there. But when you are talking in this way, it is still a bit of a conversation. It's also a performance, not in the way that we're not being authentic, but because you have to make sure that you're not going, yeah, 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 yeah. Because even in person, that would make sense. Or in just like a regular convo, that would make sense, but not in a performance aspect. So it makes sense that you have to change it some. But anyway, I just think it's fine for you to say, yeah, and.
I don't want to lean on it so much, though. And I know
Right.
there's something else that I say, but I forgot because when I hear these things, I become so ashamed that I need to block them out.
You shouldn't be ashamed. It's just normal.
No, it's not normal. It's supposed to be better. It's supposed to be better.
It's like yelling at a baby for falling a lot when they're trying to learn how to walk.
We're one of the top 10% of podcasts out there. Average podcasts. Here you go. More than 26 downloads. You're in the top 50% of podcasts.
Wow.
More than 72, and you're in the top 25%.
Is this a month or at the release date?
If your new episode gets within 7 days of its release, so the first week.
Oh, okay. So we're way above that.
If you get more than 231, you're in the top 10%. If you get more than 539, you're in the top 5%. And if you're
Well, that's us.
so we're in the top 5%, even though there's not that many people who listen to us. I mean, think about filling a room.
Absolutely, that's a lot.
Nah. It's not that much. It'd be like
Yeah,
half.
500 people?
No,
We have more than that.
What does the tabernacle
week.
hold? What does the tabernacle hold? And then like 2,600 people. You'd have, if you went and did a show at the tabernacle and you had the number of people who listen to our show come out there, wouldn't even be half full. And you'd look out. You'd look out and you'd feel ashamed and embarrassed.
No, you're picking a gigantic space.
That's
What
a
are you
small
doing?
space. That's a very small space.
Absolutely not.
I'm
It
not
is
talking
a
about
small
Phillips
space.
Arena or Madison Square Garden or whatever
No,
it is
but-
they have in Baltimore.
I would say that's a medium place, a medium space. Something that would make more sense, like a larger capacity comedy club. That is where we would hold an event if we were going to do a live show. You wouldn't hold it at the Tabernacle. That'd be insane. We'd go to like a comedy club and then we would be packed.
I have to say, okay, something like the Punchline, sure.
Not even the Punchline, even something bigger. What about your Comedy Cellar?
I want millions of downloads.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if any podcast gets millions. Possibly,
I bet you they do.
Possibly Rogan.
Yeah, I don't know, but isn't it crazy though? Like, how do we? I would love to make some money, like pretty passively make some money on this show. I don't want to, beg people to send us money on Patreon. I guess I could do that, with like buttons and stickers or something that we could sort of send out to them. That would be fun, I think. That would only be if they want it though, but that would just be a one-time thing, And what would be the other benefit besides getting those? I don't really know. So yeah, I don't know what we would do for a Patreon, but then what would we? How do you get on these bigger platforms like Earwolf or?
You have to be look. We're not big enough names. Most people don't know who we are, and
a lot of podcasts are on those platforms, and people don't know who they are. But they're probably just better at selling themselves than we are.
Maybe their content is more focused.
Our content is very focused.
Our content is not focused.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter about
still
that because there's no way that they're talking about what their content is. They're talking about the numbers. They don't give a shit what their content is. They wanted to talk about numbers. So we get decent numbers. Why can't we get on one of those?
If we did, when we do our one topic, and then if you went into facts and trivia and you presented information that people didn't know instead of just top level general discussion, then I think that there would be people more interested. We're just not that special. And that's okay. That's fine. To say, you're even, what did you say? What did you refer to yourself as we started this show?
What do you mean?
You said something about yourself. I was asking if you think you're great, and I forget.
Oh, I was like, I'm all right.
Exactly. You're all right. It's an all right podcast.
Okay, look. Requirements. This is just a quick Google. Requirements to join podcast networks. Number of downloads, usually at least 1,000 per episode or at least 5,000 per month, which is us. Frequency of podcasts, at least once a week. Done. Revenue sharing. You'll have to agree to share revenue with the network 70-30. I would do that.
Wait, what do they take? They take, hold on. What do they take? The 30 or the 70?
They take the 70, I'm sure.
I wouldn't put it past them to try to get the... Oh, you said they take the 70.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I agree then. I agree.
But compared to nothing, I'll take the 30.
That's shit. No way. If there's a way to monetize it. Look, the reason we don't even try this is because you're talking about wanting to do nice things. That's a lot of work. I have no interest.
I would do that. That's fine with me. But like I said, okay, so let's say we have a Patreon where one of the tiers is you get a stickers and a button. I have no problem sending that stuff out, but that's just one time. But you're paying either every episode or every month. And so there needs to be something else that's distributed along with that, like exclusive content. Like if we did a second episode that is not released through the regular podcast channels, it would just be through Patreon, or it would have to be something frequently given to them.
But even that, doing a second secret episode for Patreon only members, it's not going to be much different than the episodes we already do. So it doesn't.
That's fine. That's actually fine because I think it would be just us talking. Because if the other the podcast that I listen to that I do pay for Patreon, they have an extra episode where they really are just chatting about stuff. They don't talk about their normal topics, and I like it.
I don't like to put it on the listener. I'm not a big fan of advertising. I'm not a big fan of advertising either, but I think out of the two.
Oh, it is. Look, hold on. Revenue is shared with your podcasting network, usually 70-30. You receive 70 and the network takes the rest. This is a very typical split, but don't be surprised to see different proposition. All right, so that's nice.
Or you can start shopping it around then with our numbers.
I messaged Earwolf, but the pitch email that they sort of direct you to got returned. It just wasn't a real email address anymore. And then I just messaged, I forget who, but it's nothing. So I felt stupid.
Who did you message?
I don't remember. Let me look.
I understand that feeling. That's why I don't write people. because you don't get a response. And then at some point you glance at the message that you sent and it reads as cheesy and pathetic. And you think, I can't believe I stooped to that. Oh yeah, knowing you, you're trying to. I bet you're trying to interject your personality.
Oh come on, don't be an asshole. No, that's not.
I'm not. I'm just stating. You want people to know that you're kind of upbeat and chipper.
No. I didn't do anything like that. I'm a professional person who knows how to email people. I said something like, "Hey, we have a podcast. It gets this many numbers. I think that we would be a good fit." Blah blah blah. I'm an idiot, so I got the email response that said, "Hey, we received your contact submission," and so I just thought that was just one of those reply emails that says, "Hey, we'll get back to you," and it kind of is, but it also says, "If we believe you might be a fit, we'll be in touch. Submit your materials so that we have them on file." I could have fill out this form, so I probably should have done that.
Well, they didn't think we were a fit.
I'm still going to do it. I'm going to reply.
What does Earwolf do?
Earwolf does How Did This Get Made? It does a bunch of like comedians. You don't know Earwolf?
Nah.
I think it was started by a guy Chris something who does those like Walking Dead recaps, and he did Breaking Bad.
It's funny. I work for a company that has a huge podcast network, the Vox Media Podcast Network, which I have access to their platform. I can see the numbers of all the shows. And honestly, we do have better numbers than some of those other shows.
Well, then, Greg, could you please get in touch with someone over there?
No. I can't promote myself within the company. And then people start listening, and then they start...
I don't care about how you feel about it. I want to make money for the show, please.
Even though
why wouldn't we use our contacts?
My initial point with all this is, while I work for a company with a huge podcast network and I've shifted to audio, I don't listen to podcasts.
That's fine. But
I don't. So
what does that have to do with anything? I'm saying our show.
You asked me, do you listen to this? If you don't know what this is? No.
Okay. So Earwolf has like Conan. It has Comedy Bang Bang. It has The Office. Two ladies from The Office. It has
I'll tell you something. The Conan podcast I listen to. It's fine. I
like it.
I don't. But it's not as great. I like Conan. I've been a Conan fan. Some of the things that annoy me about Conan, though, it's always about Conan. Quite often, it just has to come back to being about Conan. And if you're doing an interview, I don't like that. I want to hear, just do the interview, focus on the other person. Your job as an interviewer is to get things out of them. And it's kind of like manipulation. You lead them, you ask questions, you set the table so they feel comfortable. You can't just jump to certain questions. It's a real skill. And the Conan thing just kind of jumps around.
Is there a chance that you would go to the people you work with and talk to them about our show?
I don't know what we would fit. Like, they have very specific brands.
Well, talk to them about it.
There's no comedy. And
Are we comedy?
No, I hesitate to even call us that.
Yeah, so could you just talk to them?
What? There's no... Hey, I've got this thing.
Like, hey, I'm a part of a podcast. It does pretty well. I've looked at the numbers for other podcasts on the same network. And
I'd rather be somewhere else.
Better than them.
I don't want to mix. It's like, what is the saying about shitting in your food or whatever it is?
Where you eat?
I'm not doing it. I think there's other opportunities and probably better fits. You should
That's like saying I work at this radio station and I have a internet radio show and I don't want to bring it to the radio station where I work.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
That's not crazy. It's like
yes, it is.
It's like
it's a doorway.
I work at 105.3 The Max, and they play 80s music, and I do a show that talks about general interest.
That's not what we're talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Is it a podcast? Yes.
They don't just all fit into one bucket.
How do you know that they won't accept it if you don't ask?
They don't have it. I don't want to do that. I don't.
Fine. I'll look around.
I think that there's better fits. Go to, what's the one that Sirius just bought? Stitcher. At this point, it was a year or two ago, but the Vox Media Podcast Network is one of the largest, fastest growing, and most topically diverse collections of high quality.
Oh, really?
Oh, look, I'll tell you technically, we don't even do the show the way they like. They don't want it to sound like we were talking about earlier with the Empire stuff, too commercial. I compress the fuck out of our audio.
We're not too commercial. Are you insane?
I'm not insane. I'm telling you, even the way I produce the show, which is very basic, but I compress our audio. We want dynamics. Oh, you want dynamics for spoken word?
Well, listen, if it's going to give us 70% of some ad sharing, then don't compress it as much.
Do you know what dynamics does? You're quiet, you're speaking, you're quiet, so people turn up the volume. And then I come in like this and it busts their ears out. That's what dynamics does. But now we don't want to compress things because compression sounds like commercial radio.
I just don't trust your judgment because you are sometimes insecure about your creative endeavors. And so I feel like you're coming from a place of, no, it's not going to work. No, they won't accept it. No, it's not right. No, it's this, it's that. Instead of just being optimistic and saying, hey, why don't we just give it a try?
I'm happy to give it a try elsewhere.
I know you are, but you have an in.
It's not an in. I don't necessarily know these people. It's a very big company, and I know that I'm doing some work in a certain small...
Do you know anyone in the podcasting department?
Not directly. I mean, the people that I work with, yes, but they're not the top.
Is that a yes?
It's not a yes. No, it's not a yes.
You said the people that you work with? Yes.
No, I work with people, and we work on some elements of podcasts, but not near the creators and not near the management. And I would reach out and they'd say, who the hell are you?
Right. And they'd say, oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's even better because you're saying that you guys don't know each other. So there would still be this huge separation. They wouldn't be like, that's Greg.
I'm not going
Nobody
down the
knows
road.
you. That's fine. So you'll submit it, but you'll do it from the inside instead of being a total outsider.
No, because then they do things and they look into you and who you are and they see the other things I do and they see I do the radio show. And then they say, we don't like the fact that you're on that station that has these other hosts and you need to pick one or the other or else we're firing you.
There's no way they're doing that much
You also signed a contract that said that you wouldn't do outside work and you're doing outside work behind our backs. I'm not doing any of this.
If that's the case, then that's fine. I understand that.
It's all out there. The thing is, if anyone took the time, but most people don't have the interest. So... But I'm not calling attention to it.
If you're saying that the reason why you don't want to do it is because you're worried about like a contractual breach or something, that makes sense.
I don't even know if I signed it, honestly. They sent me. Well, that doesn't mean that they couldn't try to enforce it. They would say you sign this or you don't get to work anymore. But they sent me a bunch of things that I refused to sign.
You refused?
Oh, I didn't even outwardly refuse. I just ignored them. And one of those was the terms of employment. I think because I wasn't a new employee and I was just brought in through the merger, it's like I'm already employed.
Right.
So, they're not looking as closely because they never came back. But I think if you're a new employee, it's like they're checking all the boxes. And this is, okay, you're coming over. I'm already being paid. I already get, the paycheck comes through. So this contract that says you can't work anywhere else without express written
No,
consent.
I understand. Like I said, I understand. If that's the reason, to me, that is more legitimate than I feel like your sort of personality type, which is maybe insecure about their creative output.
I didn't sign it. There was another one for the company credit card that said something like, if you don't reconcile your charges by the 7th, we're not going to pay the card. And then any incurred interest comes out of your paycheck. And I said, fuck that. I ain't signing this. And they still gave me a credit card with a $40,000 limit.
Wow.
I mean, I can't
Will you buy me something?
Yeah, I'm just going to start abusing the credit card.
Well, that was a test and you passed. Good job.
I draw the line. Sort
of. Let's not talk about that.
I'm not abusing a credit card to like you get fired because you didn't want to pay $60 on Amazon. It's stupid.
Right.
I wanted this thing and I didn't. Oops, I used the company card by accident.
Yeah.
And you can only use that excuse a couple times. But there's other ones. Look at the other ones. I don't think the show. I don't know. Who the fuck wants to listen to me? Clearly, people don't. Because
see, this is your thing. You need to reconcile this by the 7th.
I tried
with yourself.
I did an episode by myself that I thought I was proud of after the fact. I said, "Wow, It took a lot out of me because I really had to focus, even though if you listen to it, it probably sounds a bit rambling, but I had to stay focused in order to keep it going for 30 minutes. And I was tired, but I felt good. And then it gets 0 fucking downloads. And then the one...
It's not true, 0 downloads. It got 800 downloads or more.
Well, it didn't match the surrounding episodes is what I'm saying.
Oh, you're insane.
And then the one where Eric comes on gets like 3,000 downloads. Give me a fucking break. So you can hear the same stories again. How fucking pathetic.
You're just
and then nudity and breasts. Go to listen to those. Those are the ones. What the fuck? This is
your werewolf. We need to talk about.
No, this is why I don't
talk about my werewolf. No, talk about your werewolf.
There's no reason to put stuff out there because the good stuff doesn't get any attention, and then
true.
Just the dumb lowest common denominator.
No, you're saying no.
Cro-Magnon repeated shit. That's what I want to listen to. Shut the fuck up, Greg.
On everything
I just want to hear Autumn talk about her body. Fucking idiots.
Don't talk about people like that. Those are people that listen to our show.
No, look, the people listening to the show and hear me say that, the ones who get it are on my side. They're not offended by that. They're not offended. They like it.
You can like garbage and still be a thinking individual.
They like the fact that I've put them in a bucket where they get it. We're on the same side. We're on the same team.
Okay.
Us versus them. That sells. People love that. It's one of the top sellers in the country right now, us versus them.
Well, then you're being pedantic?
No, look, here's the thing. When I do this, the people who come in...
You're like, my show needs to be so... What?
No, go ahead.
Your point is that your type of show needs to be thoughtful and never crass or never anything like what you're talking about with like breasts or anything or nudity.
We did the episodes and I'm fine talking about them.
But then also you're saying that the way that things sell is by making people feel like us against them.
I made that up on the fly. That was improvising.
I'm saying
it's true.
You're contrasting your own ideas or whatever. You're arguing against yourself.
Well, I get to choose the tropes I want to lean into to push the show forward. And look, you don't need to worry about me offending the listeners because those 1,000 downloads, those 1,100, 1,200 downloads that we get on a regular basis, those are the listeners who listen all the time, so they're on our side. The ones who come from God knows where, when there's an episode and the numbers swell, those are the ones I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm coming in for this, and then there's zero interest outside of that. You know, as much as I think that I suck, I also think that we do a good enough show that somebody comes in one of those episodes, they should stick around, but they don't. I didn't get what I wanted. That's where I make fun of them.
Well, I think our show is good enough to make some money on another platform so that we don't have to do the work.
We have 6,263 downloads in the last 30 days.
And that's pretty typical. It fluctuates a bit, but it's really good.
231.3 thousand all-time downloads. But we've been doing it for years.
Don't try and ask Tim Andrews what his numbers are. He will not tell you.
Yeah, I think we get more than him. Or about the same. But that's another
secretive.
Well, that's a thing with Tim. He, when I'm expressing, he feels probably even more intensely than I do. Mm-hmm. He hates himself more than I hate myself, but he also thinks he's brilliant more than I think I'm brilliant. He's really operating in the extremes.
Yeah. I
can't stand myself. I don't deserve to be alive. I do this show. It's the greatest fucking show. Why is nobody listening to it?
Right. Did you hear the thing that he said on the show about his cleaning his living room with like a snow shovel because it was so dirty?
No.
Because his mom was, I guess, just so depressed, or I don't know, but
he's a kid?
Yes. He said that someone, like a family member or someone, came to spend the night, and they slept on the floor in the living room. And when they woke up, their clothes were yellow because of all the pee that was on the living room floor. Tim, it's not okay. It is not an acceptable child. And I was like, where was your dad? Like, why didn't your dad step up and say, like, get full custody? And he said, because he didn't want to make conflict. I was like, that's not conflict. That's protecting your son. And then we moved on because it got too real. I was like, Jesus Christ, that is upsetting.
Yeah, I can't speak to it. I feel like not having him here exploring it, but yes, that sounds less than ideal. I'll leave it at that.
Well, like the coffee cup, she threw the coffee cup at his head.
You really want to talk about this?
I won't. I don't want to keep talking. It's fine. It's just surprising. During the show, I was like, Eric, we're going to stop talking about your childhood. We need to move on to Tim's.
I'm looking at the shows now. I'm just moving off of that topic. It makes me uncomfortable.
Ugh, fine.
Okay, look, it's interesting. I'm not saying it's not interesting. I'm not trying to abandon you on that, but it's not. He's not here. It's not.
I know. I'm not gonna. We don't need to keep talking about it.
I just don't know enough. I don't know enough. I could make assumptions, sure, and maybe they'd be right, but I don't. I don't really want to do that.
I'm not saying we have to keep talking about it. I was just saying one more thing about it.
I will tell you that we've got more ratings now on Apple Podcasts than
we do.
Radio Labyrinth does.
Oh, I thought you just meant more.
No, I'm just saying for comparing the numbers.
Well, I don't want to talk about it because Tim's not here.
All right, fine. Why do you take offense to that?
I'm just kidding. It's fine. I was just making a joke.
Let's talk about how shitty Tim's childhood was. Oh, ask Autumn anything. 44 minutes. Remember when you were trying to tell me? Now, how long was your solo episode? Acting. Like
I did. I told you how long mine was. I said mine was 43. It turns out it's 44. What are you bringing up?
No, I'm just saying that earlier. There it is.
What is your point about bringing that up? I don't get it.
Earlier when I was bringing up my solo episode, you were questioning how long it was, as if I would only do 10 minutes or something.
No, I didn't. No, I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking how hard it was, because doing that long is hard.
35 minutes is mine.
Yeah, I know. We talked about this already. One
of the best episodes. Episode 177, Hold the Baby, Greg's solo episode. See, that was the problem. That's the problem. I put it in the title, Greg's solo episode. And then the crow mags who come to jerk off to your voice. Like,
no, don't put it like that, because then that's making it seem like I'm not any good except for as a sexual object.
No, so you're missing the point. That's not what I'm saying.
This is what you're saying.
You're good, but there is a sect that comes in for only that.
What you don't? Okay.
It is what? It has nothing to do with you or your talent or your ability to do a show.
It's diminishing my accomplishment.
It's not.
Which I'm not even feeling like is an accomplishment, but it's lessening anything. Because you're saying that part of that is actually just guys who are dumb.
But that's the reality of life.
Well, then I don't care. I don't really care.
This is
fine. Talk about. I'm not gonna. This is stupid. We're getting into like arguing about the validity of what we're producing or what we're doing. Doesn't matter about that. I think what we do is good. You think what we do is good. My point is that it's good enough to try and get on. This episode has not been it because it's just us bickering or something.
Well, this isn't. I think this is. See, I feel like this is a good episode. I'm dialed in.
Now I'm thinking about someone listening who's never listened to us before that might be from a network or something. And they're like, what are these two people doing?
Look, I'm dialed into my feelings. All right, I'm being real.
Okay.
I'm leaning into it. I'm not closed off. The walls aren't up like they are on 70% of the episodes. I'm just expressing what's going on in my brain and my heart.
And what's going on?
Exactly what I was telling you. These feelings. Somebody should find us. That's what I feel.
Well, that's like Eric's thinking. before. Remember when we were in the basement? Like, I shouldn't have to call WSB back.
I know.
They should be calling me.
I understood
and
that.
We were so annoyed by that.
I understood the thinking, though. I was annoyed by it, and this stupid.
Right, and so now I am you. Back then.
I'm well aware how stupid it is. It is ridiculous to think I shouldn't have to do anything. People should discover me and then shower praise and money and notoriety.
Accolade.
Yeah. I don't want to do any of the work.
Okay. I'll do it.
Well, I'm just saying that then I realize. I wasn't saying I don't want to do any of the work. Well, I really don't want to do any of the work.
You made an attempt with that Zencaster thing.
Yeah, it could have gotten us $110 a month or something.
Yeah.
It fell off. I forget. They didn't seem interested enough. They didn't
seem interested enough.
They didn't engage enough because they asked, can you give us the down? They reached out to us and they said, hey, here's our network. We can get you some advertising. You mind sharing your numbers with us? And the way they responded was there seemed to be excitement up front from them, interest, engagement. And then I told them what our numbers were, and they then took their time and wrote back a short email and said, oh, yeah, okay, sure. Here you go, if you want to do this. And I didn't like it. Rubbed me the wrong way.
Send me the response. I would like to read it.
I don't even remember where it came in.
I know, because why was it being sent to you? Why wouldn't it be sent to one topic?
Maybe it was. We are now matching ad sponsorships to your podcast. We would love to offer you $115 for 1 month of Zencaster ads. And we're excited to invite you to the Creator Network's growth dashboard. Okay, but that... I don't know where it is. I don't know. I can't find it. I'm not going to take the time on the show.
See? You suck. All right. Let's... I'll reach out to Zencaster too.
What's the serious one? Stitcher. That's where you need to go.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like that's a better fit.
Okay. What?
I just feel that you listen to these shows, the top shows, there's this air of pretension. I know that's not a word.
It is pretension.
I don't think
pretentiousness.
It is. I don't know if there's a word. You can be pretentious.
You can have pretentiousness. Whatever. We all know what you mean.
It's just these people. They walk around and they strut and they move their shoulders in a certain way where there's a chip on them.
No, you're the person with the chip on your shoulder. You're the one that's worried about too many things.
I want to mingle with these people.
What mingling are we going to be doing? Do you mean just like mental, like we're not in person, we're not going to be with them in a room like we're all Stitcher people?
Even the shows you listen to where the people, it goes to their heads and all they're doing is reviewing a show that already exists and then they become the star. Yeah, it's like a music radio DJ saying, I am hot shit. It's like, you didn't write any of the music. You're not hot shit. You know who's hot shit?
You listen to the podcast that I listen to?
You know who's hot shit? The people who wrote the music. They're the ones who are hot shit. You're just a goof. You're a goof who attached under the coattails of the musicians. And now I am the top DJ in the land. Get out of here. I don't know. But you would listen to some of them where they talked about shows. Maybe they're very nice. I hope they stayed nice. I think of this one podcast, I can't remember what it's called, but they do the live shows. And the way they come out on stage, acting like they're hot shit. Like they're the biggest star in the land. Have some humility. That's all I ask for.
I feel like you need to know I know you know who you are, but I feel like you need to approach this knowing that your thoughts on it might be a little more intense than what is required. You can go on a stage and be excited to be there and be excited to have people there and be proud of that without being full of yourself?
I think it's impossible. That's the hang up here.
That's your hang up.
You have the forbidden juice.
So what I'm saying is you need to know that you're approaching that, like, you need to know that when you think about these things, that you're the intense one, and that maybe there's plenty of people who are in between, and it's not one or the other.
You have a sip of the juice.
So you can sell yourself to a network without being full of yourself.
You drink that nectar, you're done. I think the same way we're looking at the breakdown of the percentages of podcast tiers and the number of downloads. There's like 1% of people in the world who have I don't want to say right, because really you shouldn't become an asshole or full of yourself, but enough talent where it's like, yeah, that's justified. And the rest of it's just scratching and clawing and getting any morsel you can get, which is fine. That's the game we entered. This is what we're doing. But then like someone gets a little crumb of something and then they act like they got a whole pie. It's like,
who?
No, just
Who's doing that?
People.
You have no example. This is just your fantasy of what you hope doesn't happen to you.
I have examples. I just don't know their names. I wasn't prepared. I would have come up with a list of names.
Okay, but even if you did have the list of names, it is still something that is not going to happen to you or to us. So who cares? It's just like agreeing with OJ about the Roe versus Wade thing. It doesn't make me a killer. We just happen to agree on the same thing.
The people who,
That's a good analogy.
The people who do, I'm sure that someone who does like a Knight Rider podcast. We recap every episode of Knight Rider. Then they do live shows and the music plays, and they come out like do 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 do, and then it's like, you didn't do anything. You're just talking about episodes of a show that someone else did. A lot of other people.
They must have done something good enough to get all those people in the room. So there is something that they've done.
They're preying on nostalgia, which is fine.
Whatever. Listen, if you went on and did that show, maybe it wouldn't be any good and it wouldn't get the listens. Apparently, this person in your fantasy has done such a good job that they've acquired a bunch of listeners. So whatever.
I would apologize. I would go up on stage and say,
that's ridiculous.
Because here I could look out on stage like any of you could have done this. And just for whatever reason, I'm the one up here now doing this.
Guess what? That's not true.
Because
when we do shows, when we're by ourselves and we realize how difficult it is and how much energy it takes. And then for me, the editing out of all of those things that I didn't realize I do when I'm by myself, it does take something. And I was doing a commercial with someone who was not a professional, and they're very energetic and dynamic person in reality. But once they had to read a script and perform, they could not do it, and they sounded like a high school kid or a middle school kid giving a speech, and it wasn't good. And those little moments make me realize that what we do does take something. So it's not that anybody can just do that. That's not true.
Who deserves the credit? Glenn A. Larson.
You weren't even listening to me that whole time. You're just Googling his name.
I was listening.
Uh-huh. You weren't hearing it.
I know that not everyone can do it, but let's say 10% of people can do it well.
Yeah, but do they? No. It's the same thing when you go to a craft show or something, or you go to like those like indie craft shows, and you see something that you think, I could have made that, but will you? No, you won't. So buy it.
And if I talk to the person who made it and they were very sweet, they're like, oh, thank you. I'm like, yeah, I make those. I'm the best.
No one says that. No one says I'm the best.
Scan this QR code to go to my Insta.
You're like weird insecurity. You're like,
go to my Insta. I have so many followers.
Yeah, those people are assholes. And sometimes assholes are successful. But most of the time, it's just people that are you're allowed to be proud of something without being big-headed about it. You won't allow yourself to be proud of something because it makes you feel like you don't deserve to be proud.
The nectar's poison. Runs through your veins. Consumes you. Glenn A. Larson, writer of so many Knight Rider episodes. That's who should be cheered on stage.
I thought quote that you just said was from Glenn A. Larson.
No. It was written by me.
It's ridiculous. I mean, listen, I understand.
Winrich Kolbe.
You are who you are, but you have to know that, yeah, this is how I feel, but I know that I come from this extreme position. And so maybe the way I think about it might be not as true as reality might be.
Just needs to be humility. If it ever
just like the late night werewolf episode. I know that sometimes when I get real tired at night, there might be times where I start to lose it. And in the middle of that, I know this about myself, so I say, "Woo, this might be the werewolf has come." So maybe I just need to go to bed. So maybe in the middle of these thoughts, you could say, "You know what? This is me. I'm Greg. This is how I think about things." Maybe it's not totally reality of the situation.
I know the world we live in. Hey, stop! My God.
What's that?
Just things that start to play. You go to a
Sounded like a dragon.
Go to a web page and these things just start playing. Anyway.
I have a headache now.
Why?
Gave me a headache.
I gave you a headache?
Yeah.
Just listen to my single episode. That's all I ask.
Of course, we should listen to that. I listened to it. It was really good.
Best episode ever. Better than the one when Eric was on. Oh, but that's going to get the most.
Oh, baby's mad.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I mean, I am mad. I'm mad that so predictable. So predictable.
Oh, boy. Where's the music?
A shadowy flight into the dangerous
This guy, the guy who does the VO,
Such a great voice.
He should be applauded.
Yes.
Not the goon who does the show breaking
They
down
can
all
all
the
be
episodes.
applauded. Everyone deserves. If they're successful, then they all deserve. You know.
They should go on stage. Say, no, don't applaud me. Thank you for being here.
That's so stupid.
Thank you for being here.
No. You know what would happen? Hold on. You know what would happen if they did that and you were there? You'd be like, oh, they're such fakers. They love it. They fucking love it. They go up there all humble and pretending.
True. Because the only way...
no one wins.
No, because
nobody wins.
The only way you can prove that you're not a faker is by not doing it. That's the only...
And that is ridiculous.
It's like giving to charity, but then posting pictures of you giving to charity. So the only way... The only charity that counts for any goodwill is charity that other people aren't going to know about. So
maybe the person took a picture so that other people are aware of the charity and then will also be involved because that person is and you like them.
above the law.
No, I'm right. You got to think about the way that you lived for so long where you were like, the only way to be humble is to just not do anything for myself.
It's true.
And who wins?
You can't.
No one.
This is an instance
and
where
now you've grown and now you're doing things for yourself and being proud of things that you have.
It is
own,
impossible.
And that's okay.
It is absolutely impossible to be somewhere in the middle when it comes to this. It's either or.
No, for you, it's impossible. For others, it is not.
I look at the world. I watch the way people act. I watch the way they act and they walk around.
No. Yes, you look at the world through glasses that are scratched and only look at one way.
They're not scratched.
Yes, they are, because they're only looking through through one prism that you've decided to look at the world through. And that includes yourself. You got to give the world and yourself a break.
There's such a desperate grab for attention that even doing the show, I'm wading in those waters, wading in them, but I can't go any deeper because you go in deeper, then suddenly you become the carrot doing the news on TikTok.
That was a leak.
I'm doing history, but I was giving a different thing. There's such a desperation for views.
It's not desperation.
It is.
No, it's not. It can be, but it's not always.
What is the thought process?
You need to know that you are looking through the world through one dimension.
What is the thought process that goes into a person, like when a person's sitting there and decides they want to deliver history as a leak? The first thought is, how can I get people to watch me? That's the first thought.
I don't care what their thought is.
And it's out of that thought that the rest of this blossoms.
Something like that of value.
What?
Why do you have to give something like that a value? That they can only have the purest of intentions. And that's the only way that I'll appreciate it.
This is why it's better if somebody comes to you, because you're not seeking it. It's like, oh yeah, I was just doing this thing. And someone says, oh, I really like that thing. Can I help you make money doing it? Okay, I guess. That's the approach. Because when the moment you go out and it's like, I got this, I have this, look at this, listen to this, then you're in the game.
No. Yeah, okay, maybe you're in a game, but it doesn't mean that you're going about it by saying like, I'm the best.
I just want to be naive. I'm like, I was just doing this. Sure. It has value. You think it has value? Okay.
Well, I think that's flawed.
That's why I just have to become an artist who does some kind of weird art. Because you can still live in that. You're like, I don't know, I'm just doing this thing.
And then if it becomes popular, what happens?
Suddenly you have millions of dollars and you don't even realize it. Like, I didn't know I had that much money.
Well,
people really like you.
There's a block missing from that wall of
when people like,
story you're telling.
People are going to like you, but it's how cool is like, I didn't know anyone liked me. I had no clue.
That's not cool. I don't know why you think that's cool.
That's cool. That's the coolest you could be.
Like I said, from your perspective, from your one way of thinking about the only way that the world can function is through this one way. The world is a way, you know this. I'm not saying anything you don't know. The world is a complicated, dynamic, full of blacks and whites, but also gray areas. And it's dimensional. It's dynamic. Like it's everything. It's not just one or the other. Someone doesn't have to be an asshole just because they strived for success.
It depends on the kind of success.
No, see, again,
anything in the
under
public
some
eye.
Strange rule that you're making
No,
up.
there's different types of success. You could set out to save lives as a doctor, and while there's plenty of cocky doctors, surgeons especially, but you could set out and like never get notoriety for it, and that's successful. Like I was helping people.
Of course, but yeah. I'm not saying that one way
there's
doesn't
different
exist
levels of success. But
it doesn't have to be that way.
There's
one person can be proud of their accomplishments and all the stuff that they've done, and they could talk about it to people, and that doesn't mean they're an asshole.
I don't need to talk about it to people.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about others. You can choose to do whatever you want.
Nobody should talk about it.
What I'm saying is, though, you have to recognize that you're coming from a very specific place, and that specific place works, I guess, for you. It may not work for others, and that doesn't mean that they're wrong.
If somebody comes up and talks to, like, say I did some wonderful things creatively, and they were known, and somebody came up and wanted to talk about it, like, yeah, you did this and this. Like, yeah, I did. They were fine. That's the extent. Not, oh, let me tell you about the time I did this, and then
okay. What about if someone came up to you and said those things, and then you said, oh my God, thank you so much. Yeah, it was a really hard time, but I got through it by creating this art. Is that full of yourself? Appreciating what you've done, appreciating what you've gone through and how it's gotten you somewhere and it's gotten you some success?
A bit.
Well, then that's crazy.
No, you're not there yet. You're not there yet with that, but you're walking the dangerous line.
What I'm saying is I've already said it a bunch of times. I'm not going to say it again.
Yes. We can wrap this one up.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. Give us a review. I haven't been checking. I'll check more often. Email Stitcher and tell us that we should be on their network.
Hey, look at this amazing show I found.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Like and subscribe, rate and review. Please support our sponsor, hoffandpepper.com. Use our code ONETOPIC15 for 15% off and enjoy.